Okay, so this is two post summer vacation brains that will meet again to start up Playmaker TV after a very long but eventful summer, especially in the women's game. I know that you recently got back, Jesper, from your vacation. Do you feel like you are up and running again?
Yeah, I feel like I'm up and running again. I think it was the classic. The last 2 weeks has been a little bit of the classic. I don't remember what I do for a living. You know, when you have to remember yourself how you do stuff. But now I feel back. I really do, and yeah, I love my job, so it feels really good to be back, and nice to start up Playmaker TV again. It's been a while, so
Yeah.
it feels nice to to do the first episode. Kind of like when you want to go back to training again. So when you've done the first session, you're like, okay, I'm back training, even though it's just one training session or just one episode, but then you're back.
Yeah. I know what you mean. You know, after vacation, you don't feel very fit, but you have been running marathons and half marathons, and so you might be more up to date than me. But we talked about how, because we haven't pushed this episode at all, and but there has been a lot of stuff going on at Playmaker. So this is what we are going to focus on today. And then what we want for the people watching this is to reach out and let us know what you want to see during this fall, because now all the European leagues will kick off, while our Scandinavian leagues and the Swedish league damallsvenskan is about to be decided. It's 7 rounds to go.
Yeah.
And this is what we are going to talk about today, and we're going to refresh people's minds about what Playmaker is and what Playmaker can do for you that watch. And we have played 2 rounds in the damallsvenskan after the World Cup and the summer break. So let's just jump right into the platform and see. We're going to look at some games and data to show what Playmaker can provide with. If you are a scout, if you are a player, even coach, management, or whatever, or just really into football data, I think this could appeal to everyone that is also very, very interested in football.
Yeah, definitely, and yeah, as you said, it's happened a lot. I should have rewatched our latest episode because I kind of don't remember what's new and not from that time. But since it's a new platform, it's like during constant development, and it's under very focused development for us developers at Playmaker. So it's happening stuff all the time, and I'm very excited about this platform since I think it's offers so many new possibilities compared to our old one, and also is quite unique in like the purpose of the platform, just with being kind of football's BI platform. So when you log into PlaymakerAI, or even this page, you would see, even if you wouldn't be logged in or not, it's the news page or the start page. So we will post like kind of tickets or news here, so you can see Playmaker TV episode 20, a banner for that, our latest episode. So if you press on that, you will get to the YouTube link, and when you could start watching it here and directly on Playmaker's website. So that's nice.
And that episode was about the squad, the Swedish squad selected to play the World Cup. That was
and
what we were
also
talking about.
my simulation.
Exactly. Let's stop there for a while. You brought this one up. So I'm a bit scared of you, actually, because you did a simulation of the Euros last summer, and then you did a simulation of the Men's World Cup, and then you did a simulation of this Women's World Cup, and you are 3 out of 3. 3.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared of myself as well. I didn't expect that, or I believed in my simulation, but I wasn't sure myself if Spain was going to win. I thought like they have the keys and the potential to win, but yeah, it was really fun. The simulator had Spain as quite clear favorites ahead of countries as England and the US and Sweden. And yeah, Spain won. It was close, but it's as always in a tournament. They could have gone out before, but yeah, we'll have to wait for the Olympics and see if I can make it again.
Yeah, all the gamblers out there, be careful. What Jesper is saying now also, but the thing is that your simulator said that Spain was going to win, and that's what happened basically. So if people are interested in watching how you did the simulation, I suggest that you go back to watch the episode 20 that we aired before the World Cup.
Exactly.
Enough bragging now about your
enough
skills.
bragging. So otherwise on the page here you can take a look at, as soon as we like make some kind of new visualization or add new KPIs or some kind of new feature to the platform, we should, that's a notification to me as well, we should make a news here. So like as a user, you're aware of the change. So for example, when we did the pass networks, you come to a news page here, and there's also a video that tells you like, with my colleague Ola here, making a pass network, and like, so you can follow his video and do it yourself. So it's kind of like a tutorial as well as a news. And that's, yeah, we want our users to be as up to date and that they can use the platform to the full potential. So that's the idea of that. I think Ola did a news today, and that's regarding themes. So if you become a user of the platform, you can get your own theme. So now I have like the Playmaker default theme. But if you press on your account here and on profile, you could select your theme yourself. So let's say that you're in Hammarby, you can change here, and then it changes to the Hammarby theme, and it's now green color. You have the Hammarby logo. So if you're as a new client, and you don't need to be a club, it could be that you're news media or an agency or whatever, and like let us know about your font and style and logo, and we can generate it so it just looks like you're working on your own web page. It's a small feature, but it's yeah, it's quite nice, I think.
Yeah, and because you know what, I think that we should take a step back now and just again tell us what Playmaker is and what it can do before we dive into it, so people are aware of what we are going to do here.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So PlaymakerAI is a company that collects data from football games and events, and we make it useful for our clients so they can use it. It could be as a coach or management or analyst in a team that you want to analyze your game, so you want to get useful data to scout new players or evaluate your current players. It could be that you, as a news media, want to find out which players are performing well or bad, or like how are teams and players doing, to like better prepare yourself for commentating a game or writing an article or whatever. It could be that you're an agency and you want to find out like how are your players performing, so that you could better negotiate a new contract or sell in the player to a new team, whatever. So yeah, it could be in many different purposes. And we are located in Sweden, in Stockholm and Gothenburg, and we have clients not only in Sweden, abroad as well. And we also try to be very customer close. So if you miss anything in the platform, reach out to me or Ola, and we will implement it, basically. Keep a good relationship with our clients.
And the most important question, because so far in Playmaker TV we have been focusing on the women's game.
Yeah.
So what leagues and what kind of data can you get from Playmaker?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now, we offer in Europe we offer the big leagues. If I would say if I am talking about the big leagues, I'm talking about NWSL in the US, and then England, Spain, France, Germany, Italy. We also have in Scandinavia, we have the 2 top flights in Sweden. We have the Norwegian league, the Finnish league, the Danish league. We also have leagues outside of Europe, as Mexico, Australia, Japan. Yeah, I might miss something, and also like national games as the qualifiers for the Euros and the World Cup and the tournament, so on. So that's and we try to like grow in women's football as well. So we want more leagues, and if you're a client in a league we don't cover, maybe we can make it work and start covering the league. It's all about the interest. So we want to expand in women's football, and we want to provide the same, or like give the same circumstances and the same products for both the men's and women's side. It's very important for us. So yeah.
I have one last question before we dive into this
Yes.
episode for real. With you are a data analyst. So what do you think the women's game can like add to itself by using Playmaker AI?
So I think that you can both learn things in general about tactics, like how to create chances. We have a lot, like we train our models in when it comes to how to make a possession more dangerous or how to create chances. We separate like women's and men's data, so we have like unique women's models. You can learn from that. Also, I think that if you analyze players in leagues below yours, where you can like where you can scout players, you can find good players earlier than through the regular networks with agents, coaches, and so on. And so it's a very good tool to find the best new players as possible. And I probably forgot something as well. But yeah.
Yeah, and we must say that some clubs, especially in Sweden, then they don't have the resources to do all the things that Playmaker can do for you, if that makes any sense, if I tell you that. But also the fact is that what it can add, from my perspective, is also something you can save time by using this.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I know that you do this for clubs as well, but the thing is that scouting could be easier and more. You don't have to spend as much time on scouting players if you have a platform like Playmaker, because the platform do stuff for you with just 1 or 2 clicks. And this
Exactly.
is what we're going to show you now. But like I said from the beginning, the damallsvenskan has kicked off again. 2 games, 2 rounds of games has been played.
Yeah.
And I know that you guys have a new, how do you say, game platform in Playmaker, from taking just by that provides data from games to look at teams.
Exactly. So we have if you have seen our old web page, we also had like a game visualization, game analytics page. So now we've implemented it to the new one as well. So it's, if you press here on games, if you do it as a starter, you just get like a general list of all the games in the platform. So it's or all the games that you have access to. So now I'm on my account, so it's all the leagues we have, and they are automatically sorted in with the most recent game. as the newest. So if we go here on seasons, for example, we can press damallsvenskan here, or we can search for it. And then we have the damallsvenskan games that have come in here in chronological order. So it's also nice to have like that you can see if you played a game recently. For example, if I would be the Vitcher coach, I would be like, it should be in the top, it's here. If you played a game like any recent days and it can't be seen here, then it's not yet provided from our tagging team and the software like preparing the game data. It's on the way, but you can see here like I don't know, Mia, if you see any game missing here, but like you have the two days away. Is it the Sunday games from damallsvenskan here?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So if you press on a game, which one do you want to look at, Mia? Which one should I choose?
I'm very curious about Hammarby Djurgården. That was the Stockholm derby this weekend for everyone who is watching. It was around 12,000 people there. I think it's the second biggest audience in the damallsvenskan, actually. It was a very even game. I watched it. It was very even to me that just watched.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what the data says here.
Yeah, I would agree on you, Mia. It's a very even game. Like if you look at first, you get like some kind of the typical statistic view, and you said it was even. If we look at the expected threats, so really like what kind of value was the team generating from possession, like which surfaces or areas did they reach on the pitch, and how threatening were them in considering like generating a goal. They had 1.1 both of the teams. When you look at expected goals, Hammarby has 1.3 compared to Djurgården 0.4, but this close-up goal zone shot is really the difference here between the teams. So it's I would say it's pretty tight as well. Then we have the statistic view here. So there will be coming more numbers to this view very in short time, but for now it is the shots on target, expected goals, expected threat comparison. You have the amount of passes the both team have. You have it here converted into possession, and then it's really like when the ball is being played, like the active game time, how big of a percent of the active game time are you controlling the game? So Hammarby had control 56% of the game, 56% possession. Duration here is like the average possession sequence time. I don't know if you understand what I'm like, if it makes sense what I mean, but so when you start an attack, even if you like have a throw in or if you win the ball on the pitch, how long is the average time of your attack before you lose the ball to your opponent or generate a shot or whatever? So like what's the average sequence? And this could be there's no like really true or good or bad about the duration, like statistically. It's more about maybe what kind of tactic you have. If you want to have a high possession to prevent yourself from conceding goals, or if that's your way of tactic, then maybe you're aiming at a higher duration time. But if you're playing more on counter-attack, then maybe you're not really interested in having the long sequences, more having the quick, sharp sequences. But we can see here between Hammarby and Djurgården, it's pretty even. Then we have the expected points here, and it's just that based on the chances here, based on the expected goals, expected threat, what's the odds of Hammarby and Djurgården winning, really, or like what points do they on average take? You know, in football, you can't do 2 points or 0.7, but this is like based on if you're playing the game a million times, like what's your average pointer. So Hammarby with 2 and Djurgården with 0.7. Hammarby won. So considering the chances, a pretty fair result, but still a pretty even
Could
game.
you just scroll, like that? Yeah. Expected points. Now it shows.
Yeah. So this secondly is 2 like overtime graphs. So here you have Hammarby. If we look to the left first, we have Hammarby's and Djurgården's XG over time. So you can see that here's the minutes down low, and the dotted line here is when the goal occurred. And then you have like you can see that Djurgården started a bit better considering with chances, and then when Hammarby scored and after they started generating more chances, and then the last 30 minutes, not really that much happened. If we look at the expected threat, you can see some kind of similarity between the game being pretty even until Hammarby scored, and then Hammarby took over control for a while, and then Djurgården had the control in the end, pushing for an equalizer.
I'm gonna share that XG map because it shows kind of badly when we
do so.
Put on display here, but I will manage that.
Yeah, that's great. I thought, let's see here. I think we should go to the next step here. If you're ready, Mia, I'm going to show something pretty neat here.
Go for it.
So let's say that we want to analyze this game further. We can mark Hammarby Djurgården here. And then we can press create new dataset from selected games. So now we have the selected game. We can just mark it as Stockholm Derby. And then we can choose so this is the dataset view. We can choose what we want. So I think that we should go for a passing network. And I want to do Hammarby here. We select passes, we press save, and then it starts generating. Here we go to dashboard. I've already started a dashboard here called damallsvenskan, so we go into that.
You sound like the cooking show when you and I've already prepared it here. So just by a coincidence, I have it here.
I kind of feel like that. So now I did it. Now I did it pretty quickly, but we have something called network here. So if you've done a data set on team and then data per game, you can make a network here. So this is Hammarby's passing network for this game. So right now it's based on passes. So like the color and the width of the link here is actually like the amount of passes between the players. So like the most common pass was between Simone Boye Sørensen and Alice Karlsson. 32 passes, negative 0.01 XT. Probably a lot of passes that were just like going in between, like in build up. Yeah. And then you have other players here. So you can also like sync you can also switch here to do like an XT map. So here you have just like which kind of expected threat has the players generated in comparison to others. So you can see that in this game, Emma Westin, with her crosses, was the most threatening player on average. But you can also see that Madeleine Janogy generated threat here offensively. And if you compare like the left wing to the right wing, you can see that the dots for Alice Karlsson, Simone Boye Sørensen are bigger than from Jonna Andersson and Eva Nyström. So in this game, Hammarby generated more value from the left wing than they did from the right. And Djurgården probably managed to close down the central midfield's generation a bit. Like they couldn't go through the middle, if that makes sense, in the amount that maybe Hammarby wanted. And I use this one, and it's just like kind of, if you wanted to like see less players and so on, you can just like control this one to like increase the threshold and like see as they go. It's in the pass network here, it's maybe a bit more useful. So like if you just like do a little bit, all the substitutions like kind of go away, and you get more of like the players that play the most. And as I showed before, you can like hover over, you can see the amount of successful passes and the average expected threat from that player or from the link itself.
So what does this tell us? It tells us that Hammarby's next opponent should be very aware of Hammarby's right side in attack.
Yes, and also like maybe in this game it told us a bit of I don't know if Djurgården's plan was to like they know that like John Andersson is a national team player, they know what she can do. So because if you looked at expected threat, Hammarby didn't manage to generate that much chances from the right. So maybe Djurgården had that in a game plan and managed to take that away. Also, Cooney Cross didn't have the best game in the comparison of like generating chances. But if you look at the left flank, they managed a bit more. I think you can see here regarding the passing links as well that Cooney Cross and Roddar was mostly playing like backwards or like out to the flanks. They didn't really manage to generate like progress the ball as much. If you see, like there's not too many links here. It's more like sideways.
They're still rusty, you know, the World Cup players. I think that was Kyra Cooney Cross first game back.
What we also can do is kind of funny. It will take a bit more time, but I think we can do that. It's like we can
because you have prepared, right?
Yeah, we will do that later. So like we can do so Linköping, or we can do Djurgården. Like they have had 2 games with a new coach, right? So we have No, this is before the summer break here. So we can generate like a data set for these games, passes. You want to see Marcelo, save, and then we can do like we can go to games and we can do damallsvenskan, and we can instead of like looking at these games, we can look at the games here in July. So we can take like this Vitra game that they lost 5-1. We can do
they played Linköping a couple of times before.
Yeah, we can do here P2 game.
Yeah.
Brommapojkarna game like that. Create a new data set. Previous coach. We do teams, data per game, passes, save. We see that Marcelo 1 is finished. Please wait here for 1 second.
And to people who don't know who Marcelo is that he is Djurgården's new head coach.
Yeah, former DP coach from last season and the year before that, if I'm not mistaken. So if we go to dashboard here, we go to damallsvenskan. You can also name the tab like this, so we can have this as the, like Stockholm Derby. We press rename, and then we do a new one. We can do Djurgården coach swap, rename, and then we do like a network again, and then we have we do Marcelo here like this. We can do it wider. I think that's nice. We do a network more. We do it wider. We do no, not that one. Sorry, previous coach, and then we do like this. So you have maybe it's. I'll see if they can be pushed next together. Yeah, like this.
Yeah.
So now it's a bit small maybe, but now we can see like a comparison of like the coaches in what sense of like how have they played. So one thing that you can see, it's just a few games here, but one change you can see in between the last 3 games with the previous coach and with Marcelo now is that Djurgården is playing wider in possession, or they are at least managing to have more passes wide. If you compare the defense here, you can see that Lobanova and Ebba Hed are like having more balls and they're going wider. If we remove like players that have played a bit less.
This is also interesting now because you could show the comparison with the XT as well when you're finished with this, because that could be interesting to see what
one thing is. Exactly. One thing is interesting here, like I've watched Djurgården's games too little to know if this is a tactic, but you can see also like the Alice Bergström's position was like maybe the best player in Djurgården during the spring, that she has like a more centered position in the previous games comparing to playing more as a wing back or whatever in before. If we look at
I would probably say from watching them, because I did watch them a little bit before the break, and now that that is a tactical change.
Yeah. And if we look at expected threat, we can actually see a bit of a decrease for Alice, like, or pretty similar from Alice Bergström, but maybe a bit of a decrease. But that could be like, it's just a few games. They met Hammarby as well. You shouldn't do too much of it, but like when she's going into the middle of the pitch, she has less space to like operate and like run through. It's kind of a different role, which could be different. But then also, like, I think if you look at Ebba Hed, for example, you see a big increase in her expected threat and passing. And I think you can kind of see that before, having Alice Bergström as like a higher wing back, being a playmaker on one side, now it's more like they want to have these progressing fullbacks in a 4 defense line, like out on the wings here. So yeah, but you can do more tactics, and if you're a coach for Djurgården, example, you know how to play, like this maybe would make like the most sense of you. Are we seeing what we want to implement and so on? So yeah, that's nice. The most important thing also when doing this is to remember to save. That's important. Always remember to save.
Until you have made the update for it to be like Google and Microsoft 365.
Yeah. So another thing you can do is, like, in general, create data sets, like, which is a good reminder. I showed a bit in the episode before the summer how you do that. I will remember again. But like when you go into creating a new data set, this is really like, you don't need to do any programming code. This is like, instead of doing any programming and like building a pipeline to take care of event data, we offer you the possibility to, like, directly from the raw data, do what you want with just a few finger clicks. And me and my colleagues, we've already done the programming for you, so you can just use this board to get the KPIs you want. So you choose your season, which is damallsvenskan again. Then you name your set something like this, players. And then you can, if you want to do players, you just have it like this. I usually filter up. I don't want the players that have played a little. So I usually, I would go for like maybe the players that have played 5 games or more. We have an advanced option here where you can also press the auto update, which means that you can only, you just need to do this data set once. If you want the data set for just damallsvenskan running all the time for the entire season, you just do it in the beginning of the season, then you press auto update and everything will take care of itself. You can also do between dates. So if we would want to take a look at, for example, how has Linköping played with their new coach, we maybe press 1st of August to date, and then we do another data set from until the 1st of August, and the 1st of March, for example. You could also combine seasons. So if we would like to look at the end of 2002 damallsvenskan and damallsvenskan 2023, we could choose both of them in seasons and then do a split the data set over seasons. That's also nice, I think. There's also something called the custom query, which is very, very nice. And that's if you go to advanced option here, this I would do an article on so you can know it better. But then you can do commands like this. So we can do game state lower than 0. What does this mean? So this is actually, if I would write this, it would mean that I will only look at the events when the game state is less than 0. And game state less than 0 means that you're trailing, that your opponent has scored more goals than you. So you can look at how is the player performing when you're chasing a goal, or you can do GT, which means greater than 0, and look like how is the player performing when your team is leading. You can also do like game time greater than 60 and look at like how is the player performing in the end of the game. You can do like xpos greater than 50. So like just look at which opponents or the offensive coordinates, and you could go even bigger in like kind of looking at only like a couple of games, so like when the players have faced like Linköping or something like this. So this is a bit harder to operate, but we'll do articles on it and like teach our users on how to do that. But that's like the most custom thing you could do, like the most freedom you have to like actually control the data set even further. And then you could decide on like, you can look at, do I want the data set for all players? That's the default, but maybe I just want the data set for only central midfielders. Maybe I just want to look at only offensive wingers, which is players playing on the wing, not fullbacks, but offensively. Or I want to choose like offensive wingers and forwards. And then we have all the KPIs here. I'm not going to go through them, but basically, like if you mark the KPIs you want, and then you generate the data set.
So is this the difference? Because from the beginning it was, you said that, so if let's do a spider on a player here.
Yeah.
Let's take Elin Rubensson, for example, because I know that people might have seen her play at the World Cup.
Then we go to my preparation. So the data set I just showed, or like the player data set, that's the one where like you if you want to generate spider. So if we've made that data set, like the players one that I showed, then you wait for it to be done in like a couple of seconds or a few minutes, depending on the number of KPIs. Then you press on the spider here, and then you go to the window here, which means like where you have to load a data set. So we have here damallsvenskan players. So now we have like the basics of the spider here. So the first, what we see now, it's just like the average surface. So this is the average player. And we have the KPIs that I've chosen before, like before this episode, out here on the edges. So we have like, I've chosen, you can choose 5 KPIs. Maybe this one is more analytical. It's like less, maybe a bit too complex for media, or if you talk to a coach, maybe too many KPIs. You can choose 4, you can choose more than this. It's up to you. But remember that like for now, all the KPIs that you choose in the data set is the ones that will be viewed here in the spider. So you said Elin Rubensson. Then yes. I usually press E, like, so they are in alphabetical order here. Then I mark Elin Rubensson. So now we have her spider here. So the red surface is Elin Rubensson.
And this is her compared to every player in the damallsvenskan.
Yes, every player. If we would have made the data set and like chosen central midfielders, for example, or so on, then Elin Rubensson would have been compared to like all the central midfielders only. So like you're controlling that in the data set as well. In the future, maybe you can control it on two fronts, but now like you're controlling everything in your data set, and then the dashboard is just for your visualizations, kind of. So Elin Rubensson here, if we look at her spider, we can go through it. Like she's absolute top of the league in expected threat passes, 1 balls offensive half. She's very high as well. This PADJ, it means possession adjusted. So what we do with these stats is that we adjust them so that the possession or the time the player is doing the defensive stats is the same. And that's for like better comparing players that are defending a lot and defending less but are good at it. So like when we have the same, now it's like on an even level, so kind of. Then it's the same with tackles, passes into the box, final third entries, which is this FTE here. If also to say, like, if you're unsure of the KPIs, when you do the data set, hover over them and you will have like an information text describing what they stand for. If we want to compare Elin Rubensson with a player, Mia, who should we compare Elin Rubensson with?
It's hard to say Caroline Seger because she hasn't played too much. But let's take Olga Atinen, even though she...
Olga Atinen is a good option. So now we get the Olga surface like in the same one. So Olga is the wider surface here above. Olga is like having a better value here in carry progress disc. So she's like more carrying the ball forward, progressing the ball with carries and dribbles than Elin is. She has also scored more goals than Elin, like this season, like having a higher average per 90 on scoring goals. She's also progressing the ball more with passes. So what Olga is very good at is that she's like kind of always progressing the ball. She's very direct, very way forward. And that is, of course, also a measure like you have to take into account, like Olga is very good at it, but then it also comes to team tactics. So like Linköping is maybe a team where you have like they're progressing the ball. They're more interested in progressing the ball all the time than Häcken maybe. So like you have to take that into account.
Yeah, and then this is also very important to know that when you compare players like this, it's not necessary about how good they are at stuff. It could be how are they being used within their teams.
Yeah, it's a lot about as you say, about playing style as well.
Yeah, what kind of playing style does Olga Atinen has compared to Elin Rubensson?
Yeah, and what you can do as well is that you could add more players. I think that 2 players and the average is kind of the maximum, maybe 3. But what I did here is that I add Julia Rodder as well. So now we have 3 players, but there's no like limit. It's up to you what you think is interesting, really. So or we go back to Elin. We do like this. So let's say here, for example, we have another topic here. So let's say that, okay, you see here that Elin Rubensson is very high in expected threat passes, but maybe I want to know, like, is she the best, or like where is she at? Then we can go here to the bar plot. So if we go to the bar plot here, we load the same data set, damallsvenskan players. And then you get like the basis of the players. Like this is the basic stand. Now you need to choose your options here. So if we go to KPIs, I wanted to look at expected threat passing. Then I can decide, like, now it's all the players, it's unreadable, but maybe I want to do like the top 10.
Yeah.
So if I do the top 10 here, I can see where that Anna Sandberg is at the very top in this data set. We have Fiona Brown, Jenny Egris, Sara Widlund, Lisa Björk, Anna Avnegård, Adelina Engman, Katarin Gorri, Olga Atinen, Elin Rubensson. So like that is the top 10 in the data set I created. And I think it was like the players that have played more than 3 games at all positions that I did, if I remember right. You can also, like, maybe this is just semantic, but let's say that I want the table in this order. I just press there. So now I have it like in the bars in horizontal, and it's maybe more readable as a top list. We can also do, like, if we want to look at more stats, we could also add one here. So now we have like expected threat carries and passes in the same this. So we can like we have it sorted on expected threat passes, but we can also like look at how high is the expected threat carries in between the player. And we can see that Anna Avnegård and Lisa Björk, they have like the highest expected threat carries in comparison to some players here, like Olga and Elin, having a bit of expected threat carries, but maybe more passes. So you can see like how are they compared. And you can go even further and add like a third bar and so on. It makes it a bit more like less readable when you add more, but it's up to you. So this is kind of a nice visualization to like look at which players, if you want to look at top lists, and this could be like a good media purpose as well if you want to maybe write an article about it or something else. You can download the picture here, and then you get like just the graph itself, and you can use it as you best want. You can also add an average line here. So the red line here is the average value for one ball's offensive half per 90 possession adjusted for all the players in the data set. So you can see like in a top list like top 10, all the players are quite above average. But if you do when we look at the team stats later, then maybe it's like easier to see like which teams are above average and below average. Yeah, that was that. We will do more.
Yes, we will come back to the damallsvenskan in the upcoming episodes for sure. We will also come back with Jesper, you could probably do some simulation or two of leagues that are coming up and will be starting just for fun to see if you can get it right this time around also.
Exactly. I think that we can just end with, or we can take a look at the maybe some team data here in the end as well, if you like, Mia here.
Yes.
So now I did the expected points here for all teams so far, and we can do it together with points here. So now we have the expected points versus points here. If we order on expected points, we have Häcken in the top ahead of Hammarby, Linköping. Is that the top three, Mia, in the end of the season? Is that the teams going?
Oh, this is so hard. I think we talk about leagues being very even and competitive, and I think that this is what we see from the damallsvenskan again. I would be happy with this. Just coming back to life after a Champions League week in Linköping, I can have another one next year. Perhaps not here, but at least what we are seeing here is that the Linköping could get another chance to qualify for the Champions League, because let's face it, to get drawn against Arsenal in the first round, that was a tough
Yeah, that's
one.
tough. That's a tough one.
A tough one, yeah. But it's very interesting also now, because do you think that Rosengård will make it top three? Because that will be the first time in I can't even remember if that's ever happened, that they haven't been in the top three in the damallsvenskan since they went from LDB Malmö to FC Rosengård.
Yeah, their performance like says that they are doing better than they have deserved so far. They had a start as well where they got less points than they deserved as well. But I think they will. The question is if they're trailing too much. I'm not sure they will make it, but I think they will definitely climb, and it will be a tight one. I also think it will be tight in the top, but because that's the thing, I can see Hammarby and Linköping like fighting for the gold or the championship, and if both they stay in the race with Häcken, then it will be so hard for Rosengård to pass. Like they need Linköping or Hammarby to lose pace.
Yeah.
And we will see that. We will see that if that happens. I'm not sure. I can very well see them missing out.
Okay, let's. You can download this one as a PNG, and then we'll post it to save. This is the date where we mark how the damallsvenskan will.
That's a good
one. Get decided according to PlaymakerAI.
Yes, I also think we can mention something in the bottom here where Uppsala has taken, like they swapped coach, or or coaches, or like they swapped coach, and but they have like taken more points than they've deserved, and they are already like in a tough spot. So seeing Uppsala and Kalmar go out could very much be the case. Or I think that Brommapojkarna, Uppsala and Kalmar, they will be the bottom three. That's my expectation. But then if Uppsala or BP take the qualification spot, we'll see. I just think it's like kind of interesting with BP and Uppsala, like they were going up from damallsvenskan, like chasing for it the same year in 2021. Uppsala had the spot, lost the last game, BP went up. Then in the year after, they were meeting each other in this like playoff to get the last spot when BP finished 12th and Uppsala third in Elitettan. And Uppsala lost that game, and then they got a spot still since Eskilstuna United were forced to leave. And now it's just the question, will BP win this fight for the third time in a row, or is it third time the charm for Uppsala? So that's something to watch.
Don't say it's not exciting at the bottom of the table as well, because it is, especially in the damallsvenskan. But let's save it and we'll post it to see if people agree or disagree with Playmaker, because this isn't us speaking. This is the platform speaking.
Exactly. This is the platform speaking, and it will be a very enjoyable fall for damallsvenskan.
I think so too.
We will have more to talk about.
Oh, for sure. Well, we'll be back in a couple of weeks' time. Maybe we are out of this post-vacation brain area or whatever by then. But until then, take care and have a good week.
Have a good week.